Welcome to a little weekly outlook. I want to do these every week, just have kind of a bias of what to go into the next week, and also for me to work on like my intermarket relationships, for me to like keep in mind of what other pairs are doing, what forex, what other commodities are doing, and yeah, let's just dive right into it. So as you can see, as outlined, um, dollar has drawn into this weekly imbalance. I know there's a lot of things I need to clean up the chart a little bit. So we now have engaged into this weekly order block right here. These three down close candles, that's our weekly order block. We also have drawn into this fair value gap right here. If we look at this wick on the weekly candle, this is looking like there's some sponsorship behind this move. We have now moved into this IRL here, or ERL, if we're looking at the daily external range liquidity. So I'm now looking for internal range liquidity. So simple that for dollar. My draw on liquidity is this imbalance right here. We also have a possible breaker here. And yeah, that's kind of just what I'm looking for. As simple as that. I'm looking for this. It'll probably get hit maybe within Monday or Tuesday, and then after that, I just kind of have to see. If we zoom down to the 1 hour chart, I just don't necessarily like this. I feel like there's gonna definitely be some manipulation. I feel like we might have a stop hunt, and I feel like altogether we could come down and take these equal lows here. So we do have this equal lows here. I think that we could, if we were to grade this as a market maker model here, I feel like we're bound to have some form of at least stop hunt here, retracement into equilibrium of this, and then maybe a move higher here. But we'll see what dollar does. I don't use dollar too much in my analysis, but it would make sense. The fact that this is a balanced price range here, we've had buy side and sell side. We might not need to draw into that, and if we do, we should just have a stop hunt here, if that is the case, because we kind of generated liquidity here, and then we could have something like that. So that's something I'm going to keep in mind. But my draw on liquidity here is these highs right here. I think that's where we're gonna go. We've now gone from ERL to possibly IRL. So there's my stance on the dollar. I want to look at the 4 hour. It's kind of just raw. I haven't really done too much chart work. I've kind of gauged what we were doing. And yeah, as we look, we have a balanced price range here. So we don't necessarily need to trade back into this area, but if we do, we could have a stop hunt within that. And then I would like to see support at this fair value gap if we do. So if dollar remains bullish and we do draw back into this area, I want to see this buy side imbalance support price. If not, we're likely going to head to these lows. So that's where my stance is on dollar. We also have this imbalance here. This breakaway gap could become a draw on liquidity, but like I've been saying with dollar for a while, dollar, it's kind of hard to really read this since we are in just a consolidation. We've been in a consolidation forever. We've just been consolidating, so it's kind of hard to get a good gauge on this, especially when there's not much that I personally like to see in my analysis. So let's kind of go into the bread and butter, NQ and ES, and also a little bit of YM. So if you look at the weekly chart, what have we done? We've had SMT, we've had a change of state delivery on the daily, and now we've had this big expansion candle here. So the fact that we've had a big expansion candle here, I'm going to continue to remain with a more bearish bias, but also this could just be a manipulation move here. Got to be careful. We do have an election. This year, so who knows? Some crazy things could happen. So just always keep in mind of bad things could happen, but also root on the analysis that we have here. So we've had expansion. We have now taken ERL within this imbalance here. So this could be a possible candidate to trade back up into IRL here. So we'll see that my draw on liquidity for dollar is higher. So that could just lead to us having more expansion and lower into imbalances here, into this low right here, and then possibly into these two down close candles. Those are what I'm looking for the downside objectives on the daily chart. So I want to see how does dollar and how does NQ and ES trade within the first day. So I'm looking for us to possibly trade back up in this imbalance, but keep in mind that we have fair value gaps in, fair value gaps out. So this could be a breakaway gap. Quite literally, this could be a breakaway gap, and we don't need to head into that. So I'd be looking for this inversion as well, and I would see if we want to displace more, looking at this level right here, these three up down close candles, possibly provide mitigation there. So let's look at ES. Yeah, it's kind of the same thing. Look at the weekly chart. Like this, looks like we have some bearish momentum. We have this weekly imbalance here, which I think is the more favorable draw at this point. I don't think we'll just reverse. I really don't. So in my mind, in my eyes, I'm looking at this imbalance right here, and then these three down close candles as the next weekly draw on liquidity. So as you see, we've had 3 expansion days. On ES, we've now traded into this imbalance here, right as ES has taken these lows here, or sorry, NQ, not ES. NQ has actually taken these lows here on the 24th. Let's look at the 24th lows. Wait. Yeah, 24th, those are these. So we do have some form of SMT, but I'm not viewing that as an SMT. I don't think that will hold. So I do want to see these lows eventually, but it's about how we get there. And let's see if we want to have a retracement. That is possible. I'm going to be looking at this down close candle right there if we want to trade up into that, and also I'm eyeing this fair value gap, but we also could just have expanding here. There's multiple factors. Weekly outlooks, in my opinion, are just like, let's see what happens and let's get a good gauge on that. So as you can see on YM, if you look at YM on the weekly candle, this weekly candle shows that we've just taken these highs. We have a big wick down here. So it originally buy side, and now we've delivered sell side already back within this range. So this looks pretty bearish for me on YM. But I don't want to get too caught up in YM because I think whenever I look at YM, I kind of just get a little bit flustered, and sometimes it doesn't aid my analysis as I would like it to. So that the YM has just taken this buy side liquidity pool. Be cautious of that. And if we look at YM, like trendline university right here. So we know that there's a lot of liquidity resting below this low here. And then we have this sell side liquidity pool, this sell side liquidity pool, which this is likely all get ran at some point. Keep in mind, we do have an election. And with all the controversy around what could possibly happen, there's definitely going to be manipulation. 100%. There's definitely going to be some manipulation. And I'm not going to get caught up in that. I'm not going to be stressed about that. Let's look at CL. So we look at CL. I held a bearish stance on this last outlook, and the reason for that being is this volume imbalance right here. Notice how we are respecting this volume imbalance. I've noted that whenever we respect volume imbalances, that is pretty telling, and as you can see, we're starting to get displacement. I'm now looking for this daily imbalance. We also have this mitigation right there. I believe we have a weekly order block or something that I'm noting here, maybe a monthly. No, I don't know what that level is, to be honest. These three down close candles is where we could draw into with this fair value gap. Well, we are within this fair value gap. So I'm now looking for this daily imbalance on CL. I think that's likely. We also have a volume imbalance over here we could return to, and we have this imbalance down here. So yeah, let's see what CL does. Kind of just monitor that. And then let's look at EU and GU. So as you can see on EU, we're now taking external range liquidity. So we can now trade back into internal range liquidity. I'll note consequent encroachment of this wick. Also this imbalance here. I think those are likely draws on liquidity. We've now had a sort of change of state of delivery here. So I'll be looking at these two up close candles and see if those offer resistance into this imbalance right there. And let's look at EU, kind of same thing. We've had massive expansion. We have now taken this buy side liquidity pool here. We're within this imbalance there. So this could be somewhere where we trade back into a imbalance into IRL to then get another expansion leg higher. So we could have another retracement for expansion. That's what I think is more likely. We have mitigation right here. Consequent encroachment of this wick could be influential. And yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Let's look at gold. Gold's the one thing that I didn't check before I hopped on here. As you see, we have a 1, 2, 3 drive. So sort of exhaustion, would you say? We've had a fair value gap into this buy side liquidity pool. And now we've had a fair value gap out. That looks like some manipulation there. I don't want to look at gold, to be honest, because I feel like gold's one of those things to where I'll get caught up in. And I'm not going to look at any commodities. And yeah, I'm not going to look at any commodities. I'll look at the other, let's look at Bitcoin real quick. Okay, Bitcoin looks bullish, but again, I don't really care for Bitcoin. I don't really have, like, I don't really care to even track Bitcoin, to be honest. New Zealand dollar, I'm looking for this imbalance here. this sell side liquidity pool. So notice that most of these dollar pairs are bearish or look bearish. Well, actually, that's GU and EU look bullish. So overall, if we look at the dollar, I'm looking for this imbalance, and then that could aid for more displacement lower if we want to on indices. But yeah, let's kind of just keep in mind what's gonna happen and be prepared. And I want to see how Monday trades. Oh, and also let's look at news. I feel like I should have had that up earlier. I feel like I should have had news up earlier. Monday we have no red folder news, so Monday I kind of just want to see how we trade, and then we have no red folder news Tuesday. That Tuesday could be a possible trading day. Wednesday, PMI. Thursday, GDP, and then we have PCE. So we have red folder news throughout the rest of the week. So we could have a consolidation reversal on Wednesday, or consolidation midweek reversal, consolidation Thursday reversal, or something like that. So let's see what happens. And as always, hopefully y'all have a good rest of your day, and I will see you guys in the next one.